Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. This is a regular meeting of the Village Council. Today is February 12th, 2018. I guess we'll be wishing each other Happy Valentine's Day in a couple days. First order of business is to have the Pledge of Allegiance and a brief invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we ask that you guide the decisions of this board this evening, and that they may be in the best interest of this village. In your name we pray, amen.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have a roll call for attendance of the Village Council?
President McDonald?
Here.
Mrs. Sotheby? Here. Mr. Amaranti? Mr. Hoffman?
Here.
Mr. Kennedy?
Here.
And we'll note for the record that Trustee Almaranti is excused, and Clerk Cindy Grosskopf and Treasurer Judy Verse are both present. The minutes of the January 8th, 2018 meeting, there's a typo there in your minutes, but
And we don't have an agenda.
there were several out there.
Oh, really?
Not enough.
Here, which one is this, Yvonne? That's all, it's here.
So, the council's received the minutes. Are there any questions or
Where's the typo?
on
It says
the,
April 10th, 2017
on the minutes?
on the agenda.
Yeah,
I'm awake.
okay. So minutes have been provided. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? If none, a motion to approve the minutes would be in order.
I'll make that move.
I'll second it.
Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye of approval.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay, council has before it a proposed agenda. Are there any additions or changes?
Yeah, can we put the amount in the accounts payable, please?
Okay,
General should read 17,157.72. Major should be 1,299.45, and local 356.25.
How much was that?
the local?
Local?
356.25.
Yeah, apologies, we're a little bit unorganized because the computer broke down last week and we haven't been able to get it repaired, so we've kind of patched all of our reports and everything together for this evening.
Also, can we cross out budget and
Yes, and cross out, we'll do budget amendments next month once we have everything up and running. So is there a motion then for approval of the agenda as amended?
I so move.
I'll second.
Supported by Mr. Hoffman. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay, council has received the treasurer's report. That's one of the handwritten reports. That's in your packet tonight. If there are no questions, changes, or corrections, a motion to approve the treasurer's report would be in order.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
I'll second it.
Supported by Mr. Hoffman. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, or I guess we have to do a roll call on that for approval.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the accounts payable in the amounts that Judy just gave us. Are there any questions, changes? That's also a handwritten summary. Are there any questions, changes, or corrections? If none, a motion to approve payment of the bills would be in order.
I make a motion that we pay the bills in the amounts of $17,157.72 in the general, $1,299.45 in the major, and $356.25 in the local.
Second it.
Any questions on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call, please. Pay the bills.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Hawkins?
Yes.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing for public to have input on the 2018-2019 village budget and the millage rate to be set to provide funds for the budget. So at this time, it would be appropriate to open the public hearing. Is there a motion to do so?
I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing for the 2018 budget.
I'll support.
Any questions on the motion? If none, all in favor of opening the public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Okay, at this time, for those that may not be familiar, the village budget runs from March 1st through February 28th or 29th, depending on the year, the calendar. So the village council has reviewed the proposed budget for the last couple of months, and the hearing today is for the public to have input, and as well, there will be no change in the millage rate. It's going to remain at 7 mills, which it has been for the last 2 years. Beyond that, are there any questions or comments that anybody would like to ask of? Direct them to me, and if we need to get the trustees involved, we can do that. If there are no questions, then we can, going once, going twice. Okay, is there a motion then to close the public hearing?
I so move.
I'll second it.
Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of closing the public hearing and reopening the regular meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Okay. At this time, it's an opportunity for the public to address the village council. We ask that you be brief and to the point. If you are here for another item on the agenda, under new business or unfinished business or old business, you will have a chance to speak at that time. So, that said, Cindy Ashley, you had your hand up first.
Okay. I'm not sure, did I see Cooper Standard paid 0 in taxes?
No,
Okay, it doesn't matter anyway.
they've never paid 0 in taxes.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter to me anyway. Apparently the letter was never sent out, or they're thumbing their nose at you because they're still piling snow right where the sidewalk is.
Okay.
You know, and a company that has money, that has a company come in and plow, they don't clean their sidewalks. You know what? A lot of people don't, so I'm done with that issue. But when they plow the snow, it's going over by the village garage, and it is not being pushed far enough off the road. Donnie does
Okay.
it. That's
Okay.
not right.
Donnie hasn't mentioned it to me, and I did talk to, I didn't talk to the plant manager, but I did talk to them about clearing the snow off of the sidewalk there in front.
Wow.
Back when we talked 2 months ago.
Oh, they are thumbing their nose at you then, because it's not being done.
Okay, well, I'll go back, Cindy, and try and get that taken
Well,
care of.
mention the road too, that's a big, you know, if the sidewalks were clear, you know, I'd pursue that further, but nobody is, well, some are doing it, but. So
That's what I was going to say. The sidewalks are awful. How are we going to enforce our ordinance? We have an ordinance that these people are supposed to clean their sidewalks. I get out of my car to go to the school, and I don't know who it is up there, but somebody's plowing snow right onto the sidewalk in front of the school. Did you see who it was there?
I don't know who it is.
Okay, because it looks like they're plowing your neighbor's driveway. But it looks like when they get it out, they're plowing it right on the sidewalk.
Well, our maintenance guy plows it up there also.
Okay.
I don't
He
know.
just said might not have got pushed up far
Yeah.
enough or
The
something.
sidewalks are terrible. It's like you're trying to get up through there. You can't walk any farther than the Pollyant Trail on this sidewalk.
Yeah.
And you can't walk any farther than Division Street on this sidewalk because nobody plows.
Okay, so I've got a list here. Cooper Standard
We do
End
have an
School.
ordinance, but I didn't
Seriously,
seriously
a
enforce it.
postcard. How much does a postcard cost that you could send to all the residents, because we're now lacking quite a few in the village, and just remind them that there's an ordinance that has to be done?
Yeah, there was a reminder several years ago in the village, one of the village newsletters.
Did
that
it
went out.
work?
I mean, we have an extra amount of
Maybe
snow
it's time
this
to do
year.
it again. Yeah,
We've got a
and,
big pile of snow.
yeah, we were talking before the meeting, and I think the National Weather Service said that that Detroit area and Flint area have received twice the normal amount of snow for the period from December through now. So
But it's
a
just, it's very
significant
hard
amount.
to walk. I mean, because what it's doing is it's getting icy now, and so you're like climbing over the banks and.
I
it's
think
awful.
two things, some people don't have the equipment, and some people are getting older, and I think you need to think about that as well.
Then they need to have somebody do it for them.
I hear you,
I agree, or pay somebody. Yeah, pay somebody to do it.
but
I mean,
some
we're lucky
senior
that we-
citizens might not have that extra money, folks,
Even
But there
in the
might
city,
be
you
people
would
that
still
be
get
willing to
ticketed.
do it for them.
Yes.
if they know it. Because we have several people that are older here, and they don't have a lot
I
of extra
understand
money.
that. I do understand that.
Yeah, I do too.
But it's
And that's-
ridiculous. We're going to all these other towns that are comparable, and their sidewalks are clean.
I think the point's been made, and
Obviously not, because nothing is being done about
I meant
it.
your point has been made tonight and supported, and
We'll see.
clearly it's a priority for the residents. It is difficult when property owners that own property that's they're not residing on, that they don't shovel, don't seem to care, but they are just as responsible as anybody else. So I'll sit with the council and we'll probably do something, either a newsletter or a directed mailing to everybody. And then after that, there's no,
I can take names,
they'll have had their warning, so to speak.
because you know, if we had a sidewalk, we would be shoveling ours, you know that.
Oh, you don't have a sidewalk?
Do you want to put one down there?
Watch it, watch what you wish for. Okay, anybody else have a comment? Yes, Mr. Rathburn?
I see we have quite a bit of block grant money, and I think we can use that for senior citizens and low-income people to shovel. Pretty sure.
Okay.
There's
Thank
an
you.
option.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll look into it. Anybody else? This time? Okay. Moving on then to new business. Was there something else?
No, we were just saying seniors.
Okay.
Seniors in high school also have to do college
Yeah.
or credit
The
something.
National Honor Society does, at least in Oxford.
I thought they all had to.
We've tried that before, and to my knowledge, it's been
Okay, I don't know for
just
sure.
Honor Society kids.
Okay.
Okay, moving on then to new business, Village Council, we're positioned to adopt the budget by fund and functional category, and we've done our truth and taxation postings. Cindy, is there any documents that we need to read pertaining to that?
The truth and taxation and the adoption.
Okay. So that said, I'm recommending that the council adopt the 7 mil millage rate, as has been the case in the past, and that we adopt the 2018-2019 budget as proposed. Are there any questions from the council members on that? Anybody else? So, waiting on a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the budget for 2018 as presented with the 7 millage.
I'll second it.
Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, could we have a roll call then for adoption of the budget and millage rate?
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Very good, thank you. Speaking of Cooper Standard sent the village a check for $10,000 to help with the restoration of the mill. Sorry, Cindy. Yeah, we're not gonna get our sidewalk plowed now, I can tell you that. But we're very grateful, and the village council will acknowledge their generosity with a letter of appreciation as well.
Along with the snow plow. I'll put that
We'll do it at separate times. Okay, moving on. Item number 3 under new business is in regards to ordinance 19. Several of the council and planning commissioners attended a workshop at the county during which we went back and re-examined our zoning ordinance, and in particular the zoning board of appeals enabling article. And our current article calls for there to be 7 members on the zoning board of appeals. And that harkens back to when the village council consisted of 7 people. Since that time, it's been a couple years now, we're down to 5 council members. So that ordinance should be amended. So I'm asking the council tonight to pass a motion directing the planning commission to review the ordinance and make the necessary changes to enable the 5-member zoning board of appeals. So is there a motion to support that action?
I so move.
I'll second it.
Mr. Hoffman, are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to direct this to the planning commission for action, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say no. Okay. Motion passes. Council has received information regarding, we're having a lot of equipment problems. Our computer is broken down, and the printer had broken down several weeks ago, and we've been limping by using an older printer. Bottom line is that I think it's time that we have to invest in a new printer / copier. So the council in its pocket should find several quotes from companies that provide that service to communities, etc. And it looks like the Lease Consultants Corporation proposed essentially this, not this exact same machine, but a similar machine and same brand as Elite Imaging Systems. Both of them are basically in our time budget capability to do. So we're recommending that, Judy and Cindy and I guess I should say, are recommending that we go with the CopyStar CS306 from Lease Consultants Corporation. This also provides, at the end of the lease, which is 36 months, we can buy the machine for $1. And then we take it over ourselves basically, unless we keep a maintenance plan with them.
You said at the end of what, 6 months?
36 months.
Oh.
And the prices ranged from $1,975 to $2,200 plus for the same capability machines.
What we pay,
These are scanning printer. These have a scanner. They're a network printer. They're a copier, and they're a fax machine all in one. But they are for lack of a better term, they're business quality. It's not like we've been using, basically, our printers have all been $100, $200 residential type printers, so.
How much is it per month?
So they're, of the two contracts.
$65. And that includes everything but the paper. We pay for the paper and buy the sheet or page. And it's a color copier, so that gives us a little more capability. Come in handy with the planning commission, getting a little color, being able to do things in color.
I know at our shop, they charge us for color.
Yeah, it's a different amount. Yeah. Alex, did you have something?
No, I was just gonna say the difference of the two prices on the two leases.
Anybody else? Okay, well, what is the pleasure of the council?
That's the only budget, or the only one that you got, the least?
No, there's four there, Larry. There's the front and back of each page. There's basically four quotes.
So if it's the $65 a month one, that would come to $2,300 at the end of 3 years.
Does that include ink and stuff, or?
Everything but paper. It includes toner. Yeah, well, it's under, we're leasing it for 3 years, so it's covered under it's their responsibility. After 3 years, assuming that we buy it out and keep it, then it would become our responsibility unless we continue some type of maintenance plan with them.
It's about $300.
I think the maintenance is separate and they charge by the sheet.
For this
One
one?
cent for black and white, 7 cents for color. They all do.
For what you use, right, it's the
Right.
same for all.
And they would, this one would bill us in the rears. These other guys want money up front. So they would keep account of how many copies we run.
Okay.
Is this similar to what you was using anyway? Besides the old fashioned?
No. No, the copier that we have was purchased, I think, and it's only a copier, it's not a printer. We purchased that, I think, 2006, somewhere in there. And so it's been a good machine. I mean, it has had to have some repairs, but it's not worth anything. They said they'd give us
Well, they give us a $50 credit for it because they can't resell it because they don't make parts for it anymore. But he said he would give us a $50 credit for it.
So is
We
this the
bought
one
that.
you're kind of looking at, the one for lease consultants?
Yes.
Yeah, at a per print price, they have the best price, and that's gonna be what's the totality of the cost.
Right.
Is there a reason why you're just not buying it outright? Other than
Well, this way we get there's no responsibility for servicing it. They have to take care of it. After the 3 years, we would either take responsibility or have to buy some type of service plan through them or another consulting company. So
So they can't do that? Come
How long did the first printer last?
well, we've gone through a number of residential printers like you and I have at home. That's what we've had for our computer. And then the copier itself is a black and white copier. So what we're doing is we're consolidating. We actually have 3 different printers upstairs. One's a backup, one's a large format printer, and one's a regular printer. So we're going to get rid of, we could eliminate the 2 residential slow printers. They do both have color one of them has color capability. Get rid of those and eliminate the copier as well and have it all
Well, the
done.
reason why I ask is I use my printer, which is 11 by 17, 8 by
No, it won't do large format. The one we're looking at is not large format, 11 by 17.
Right. It is not.
Right, but what I'm saying is I have one at my house that we use also at work, and it has color capability of only $350.
Well, the problem
And
is
it's copy, scan, fax, and scan to email.
we have a large format printer upstairs dedicated just for large format printing. But this machine is not, and we're not using that one for normal correspondence. They just don't last. With the volume of, as small as we are, the volume of paperwork would probably surprise you how much paper we go through. So. Alex is the only one I think that's ever sat here with the computer in front of him at a meeting, at some meetings, yeah. So we're not e-friendly. Okay, so is there a motion then to approve or authorize the purchase of of a printer / copier?
So ordered.
Mr. Hoffman? Is there support?
All support, but that's for the Lease Consultants Corporation one, or which quote was
Larry, is that your,
The lease
okay.
consultants generated.
With a 36-month,
Yeah.
$64.98
Yeah.
lease payment, and black and white at not quite a penny a page, in color at, oh, I'm sorry, wrong.
There's a paper page too.
No, yes.
Yes, we are.
Penny per page, black, and 7 cents per color page.
After the
Billed,
$65 a month?
Yeah.
billed quarterly, yeah.
2,300 just for the printer for 3 years, and then plus your... It makes no sense, to be honest with you.
Well, the problem we have is getting it serviced.
Yeah, you go buy a printer, and the Office Depot sends you 20% off.
Well, we've done that, and we keep doing it, so we're getting nickel and dimed at $200 every other year for a printer.
And my kid's homework out up here too.
Pardon?
I'm wondering, my kid's homework got printed out up here.
Yeah.
$200 a year.
You have to pay for the ink though, if you buy one of the home printers. If we go with this one, they supply us with everything except the
You're
paper.
paying for the ink, that's what the penny's for, and you're paying for the color, that's what 7 cents is for.
No, that's the maintenance on it. There's the maintenance.
You're also paying for the ink.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worded very clearly on here, but it says maintenance to include parts, labor, and toner is 1 cent per black page and 7 cents per color. So I think what that means is that in that price, you're getting the maintenance and the toner. So you're paying for the toner, it's just, you're not looking at it as one chunk every time you go to buy the cartridge.
So how many pages do you guys figure do you print out a month?
Well, we're looking at it as a long-term investment, but between what we do at the office, I don't think, what's a ream, one of those packages? Probably under a ream a month, but it all depends on what we're doing. If a resident comes in and wants a copy of something, or the planning commission needs things printed, or we have to duplicate often everything in multiples in order to provide it for, the attorneys, the planning commission, the council, like tonight for the meeting. So the problem we have is we've run out of lifetime on the copier. We've got a printer that was probably around $200. It's probably 2.5 years old. And are we going to buy a copier and not get a printer? This kind of puts everything together in one package.
So as a village, we do a budgetary cost effectiveness to show that we're gonna save money?
I'm not saying we're going to save money. It's just the most cost-effective way to go. Unless we buy and time is a factor as well. When you have to stand, when our administrative or one of our officials has to stand there and wait to grind out 5 copies for somebody that's waiting, I mean, if you're asking for justification, I mean, we've made the one we have. We bought it the same way, just the copier, and it's lasted 12 years, 13, 14 years. I mean, we take care of the stuff. It's not like we're mowing through it. Okay, so we have a motion and a support. Are there any other questions? If none, can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on to the next item is ZBA bylaws. This is not an action item for the council. You'll find a packet in your package. This is another requirement, basically, of the law that the village has not done, so to speak. We don't have a lot of ZBA, if any, but we need to have bylaws on the record for our ZBA. In our case, our ZBA is the village council, so I wanted to provide these to you to review, and then at our next meeting, we can, before the next meeting, if you see anything that you'd like to address or have addressed, let me know, and hopefully we can get it out for your approval at the next village council meeting. Okay, we received a communication from AT&T regarding the franchise. For the Michigan, it's a Uniform Video Service Local Franchise Agreement between the Village of Leonard and AT&T. It will have the effect of continuing in place the current terms and conditions in the Uniform Video Service Local Franchise Agreement between AT&T and the Village of Leonard, dated March 10th, 2008. It includes a standard agreement and required for use by the Michigan Public Service Commission. So, interestingly, back in the day, if we didn't take action on it or didn't sign it, the franchise did not take effect. However, if we fail to respond to this, and even if we respond negatively, the law allows them to proceed with it as though we had approved it. So, my recommendation is that we just go ahead and approve it, since it in no way changes our current situation. So I'm asking the council for authorization to sign the franchise agreement between the village and AT&T of Michigan.
What is that? Is it internet?
Yeah, no, it's basically cable.
Yeah, right.
No.
It's basically cable.
AT&T don't offer us cable.
It offers U-verse.
You can't get it on.
You know what, then I'm gonna speak up because they will not bring it down our road.
I can't get it either.
Yeah, there's
Either in Shire.
we addressed this back in 2008 and 2009 and tried to get AT&T. They actually came to our meetings. What happened is when the village was wired, because of the railroad track, they wired one circuit on this side of the tracks, so to speak, and another circuit on the other side of the tracks. And that includes going north. So they did their number crunching and they decided there weren't enough customers on the south side or east side of the tracks to justify putting in another U-verse box for AT&T. So they put it on this side of the tracks, which serves most of the northern part of the village. The next AT&T box that I'm aware of is down at Hagerman Road, and they only have a range of a half mile. So
why would we agree? I mean, I understand you're saying they're basically pushing us to it,
right?
But I mean, there's got to be something we can do not to be a franchise fee.
I can't say we've met and asked, and I've literally begged for it, because when I first got in office, it was a huge difference. You know, it was tough, and we all sat here.
Another box?
Back then they told us it was $100,000 and they couldn't recoup the money by serving the southern side of the village, so to speak.
I have Comcast now, why don't we just go with Comcast?
Well, Comcast, we have a franchise agreement with them as well, but it's not up at the same time. So So,
But we don't pay for this.
no,
No.
no.
They pay us.
There's a percentage, they have to, they're required by law to pay for PEG for...
I thought we were paying them.
No, no.
It's more or less for them to use our utility poles, I think.
One of those things that we still have to protect, because if the state of Michigan takes that away, you will lose all that.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, I thought we were paying, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that we were,
No.
I guess it don't affect our.
Well, Shar brought up the point is the right-of-ways are not owned by any one utility. They're owned by, and they're shared.
Yeah.
So there is a concern that the legislature and the companies would like to have right-of-ways made basically private, their own domain, and they would have control over them, which means that then they could place more poles, more equipment in those zones as technology changes, et cetera, and more height. They would eliminate zoning requirements for it. The Michigan Township Association and the Michigan Municipal League, of which we're a member, are against those proposals. But as I mentioned here, the legislature often does what it wants to do, regardless of how it affects the consumer. So.
The last letter I saw, which was a month ago, said that if they get their way to where they don't have to pay these fees to the municipalities, that the boxes that they put in will be the size of refrigerators, and they'll be up on
This is what we were
poles.
talking 2 months ago about that.
Correct,
Right?
correct.
All right.
So,
And they can put them wherever they want.
In a right-of-way. That's what they want. That's
I still
what
don't want it even near my property.
Well, I'm just saying, that's the objection that, the communities and our representatives are making, but you have to write your representative or your, congressman about these types of things, because the corporations have large pocketbooks that support public officials, so not at the grassroots level, but certainly up at the congressional level. So, okay, so we have a motion and a support, or do we?
No.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion then to authorize the village to approve, village president and clerk to approve the franchise agreement.
I so move.
Second. Support by, was that you, Larry?
Yeah.
Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Okay, Michigan Municipal League dues. Here's somewhere too. This is an annual.
Green.
Oh,
If it's green, there it is.
This is an annual cost for the village. $308 is for the league dues, and $50 is for the legal defense fund, which, as we've learned in the past, it is good to support the defense fund, because they will come often and file amicus curiae briefs with, if we do have the necessity to go to court. So the total would be $358. So we're looking for approval to pay that.
I'd like to make a motion to pay $358 for the Michigan Municipal League fees or dues.
You support?
I'll support.
Any questions on the motion? Do we have a roll call, please?
President McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotheby?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, under unfinished business, Elmwood Street project update. We had to make one more pay letter. There'd been an error in how the materials had been added up. We took care of that, and we're still on track, hopefully, for a spring repair on the bad portions of the sidewalks that are still up. So, moving on. FYI on the DPW, the village truck sprang a fuel leak. Fortunately or unfortunately, we can still use it, we just can't fill the tank, and we're exploring repair options at this time. So hopefully, as soon as we get a spate of good weather where we can get it off and get it repaired, we'll be back in business.
It's on a gas tank.
Pardon?
Gas tank is leaking.
Yes. Okay, we didn't have any official FOIA requests, and we also have not had any block grant applications. We did complete the one on Division Street. Regarding ordinance enforcement, letters were sent to 2 property owners regarding building permits and construction. And 4380 Beza is basically today, you folks were going to let us know what you're going to do, I guess, or?
We're not signing an agreement.
Okay.
We found that after contacting the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development that we are within our rights.
Okay.
And
Well-
I had a voluntary inspection, and that the zoning is unacceptable to the state of Michigan that is listed.
Would you care to send copies of whatever information you have to the village?
Actually, they will send it to you themselves
Okay, that'd be great.
when the letters are sent out.
If the council's in an agreement, we'll forestall any action until we receive that, but I'd put a time limit on it, maybe 3 weeks, give or take, to see if we actually get anything from them. And then if not, I don't want to deal with it anymore either. So we'll just hand it over to the village attorney. I know you've talked to him. So, okay, great, thank you. Okay. Moving on, Planning Commission. We've had, as the council knows, Paul L. Morani has indicated that he'd like to get off the Planning Commission. And unfortunately, I've also received a communication from our current chairperson, Leslie McKenna, that after the master plan is done, she'd also like to relieve herself of those responsibilities as well. So I want to thank her now for hanging in there to get the master plan through this process with the county and get it adopted with the Planning Commission. But it's going to be another tough shoes to fill. So I just want to make the council aware of that.
My husband's retired, so I'm joining you.
We've done an excellent job.
We plan to travel and
That's great.
new adventures.
Okay. Just FYI, the master plan will be reviewed at the County Zoning Committee tomorrow at 9 a.m. Leslie and I received from the county planning group their staff analysis, and it sounds like it should pass with minor suggestions as far as what we might want to look at changing. I don't think there's anything in there that is wrong that would have to be changed. It's just a matter of maybe point of view. We had already talked about adding more documentation on our Main Street activities. So that will probably happen regardless at the Planning Commission level. Okay.
And historical commission.
Summer Festival Committee reports, anything going on?
We canceled our meeting this month, February. One of our members had a death, and it was bad weather. So we're meeting next month. I did make the announcement at the January meeting that for the same reason that she just said, this will be my last festival because my husband retired and I'm going to be traveling. So if I can't do 100%, then I'm not doing it. And so this will be my last festival. They do not want the festival to end. They're all willing to continue.
That's great.
They're looking for, nobody on the festival committee wants to be the treasurer. So they are looking for a treasurer. But they said they would all chip in and do all the work. And I told them I would be available to help them. I'm not going to just say I'm done and not help them out. They can call me anytime.
We're always
No
looking
matter
for
where I am.
volunteers.
What's that?
We're always looking for volunteers, too.
Yes, always.
Oh, sure.
Well, well, we appreciate, Phyllis, that you two are also going to stick around and get us through the festival this year. So
Yeah,
thank you for that.
There's only going to be 1 month that I'm going to be traveling, and I already talked to them about that, and just handle it from there.
Okay. Cable Commission, anything, Shar?
I no longer have to be the chair.
Oh,
That's
terrific.
good.
Who's the chair?
Yeah, you would ask me that. And I can't say his name.
Well,
Ed Hunwick,
oh, Hunwick?
yes.
Is he an employee too?
No, he is Oxford Township representative.
Okay. All right, Decorating Committee, anything?
She needs some people. She ain't got anybody for herself.
Really?
Yeah,
What about you?
I'm just the liaison. I'm good. I don't want to do all the running anymore.
Okay. Well, we helped her out at Christmas, so. Okay, there will be a Planning Commission February 22nd.
15.
Well, where'd I get the 22nd from? 15? Okay,
Third Thursday? This Thursday.
yes. Okay. Then you heard, Leslie, we referred Article 28 for the ZBA to be amended to 5 members. Okay. Pollyant Trail Management Council, there is a meeting March 21st. I think we should have meeting schedules posted soon. Main Street, I don't think we have anything going on there that I'm aware of. Do we? Looking at you, Shar, because I don't remember.
I'm going to the thing for the
Oh, that's right.
trails, but that's,
Okay, Village Parks, the Parks Committee met this past week. We adopted a meeting schedule and trying to make plans for work days as soon as the weather starts to break. NODA, we have a meeting this Thursday. I don't think there's any major activity. The buses now have cameras and they also have GPS tracking so that hopefully the scheduling and the availability will improve with those significant modifications. And I think everybody received a block grant report for this month. Is there any other business from the council to come before us? If none, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
I so move.
I'll second it.
All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no.